Welcome to the RotoWire DFS show. I'm Adam Zdroik. I'll be talking Crystal Palace against Arsenal for Monday's match, 3 p.m. Eastern. We got a big showdown here. If you've been watching the show, these contests at DraftKings the main contest is 4 times bigger than the one on Saturday. So I decided to do the show. It's a showdown of the week. We got a pretty interesting matchup here. Crystal Palace Arsenal. If you want to maybe different kind of dive into it, we did go over this match on Kits and Wagers, our betting show. You can find that in our podcast feed on YouTube as well. We gave a couple bets in that one, me and Chris Owen. So check that out if you want some bets as well for this match. As I was saying, this is an interesting matchup here. Crystal Palace, home opener, Arsenal, away from home. A bit more rest. They played last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, Arsenal last played. Crystal Palace had the dominant win against Sheffield United. So this one is interesting. So rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 48-hour trial. You can get this cheat sheet. You can get all of our cheat sheets. As you can see, it's a pretty busy Monday here. Happy Monday. Welcome to the week. Hope your weekend was good. But we got Torino, Cagliari, Alaves, Sevilla. There's interleague going on at DraftKings. Granada is playing, is that Vallecano maybe? So it's we got Liga MX as well, middle of the week. So there's a bunch of stuff going on this week. As you can see, we also have the FPL cheat sheets. If you play FPL, check this cheat sheet out as well. I should also mention we have a RotoWire Soccer League, and the winner of the RotoWire Soccer League on FPL will get a free 6-month trial at RotoWire. So you're going to want to join that league. The league is posted somewhere on the RotoWire Soccer account, at RotoWire Soccer, or just DM the RotoWire Soccer account, DM me on Twitter at RotoZadroik. I'll send you the link to join the league, but you can join that, and if you win that league, you get a free 6-month trial. So I know a lot of you are already subscribers, so maybe it's free 6 months worth is, I don't know what it comes out to, but maybe about $60. It's less. It's free, so I mean, no one can complain about it. But all right, let's get in this game here. Matt Noah question. Big decision is, do you play Palace set taker in cash or another Arsenal attacker? All right, I'll go over my thoughts here on this matchup first here. But in terms of lineups, I don't think Crystal Palace are going to change anything. They got a pretty set squad. Michael Elise is still out. Not really any questions. Mateta forward behind Edouard. Edouard's not going to be benched here. This is pretty set. Unless Nathaniel Klein starts over Joel Ward kind of thing. This is their set lineup. They are in the market for another transfer. It's escaping my name, but this is a pretty set lineup here. Yeah, it'd be someone who'd kind of replace Schlupp in the lineup is what I'm thinking about here. The new Brazilian they signed, I doubt he's going to get major minutes for him this season. Franca, I believe is how you say his name, Matheus Franca, but he's not even healthy. As for Arsenal, the big question here, I guess, is Trossard going to move into the starting 11? I don't think he is. Is Thomas Partey going to start again? Maybe. So the back line is where the questions are. Gabriel was benched in the opener. Zinchenko isn't completely healthy, recovering from a calf injury. We know Jurrien Timber's out for a prolonged period. So we're going to either get Kieran Tierney playing left back. We could get Tomiyasu playing left back. He kind of plays wherever. And then we could also get Zinchenko back if he is completely healthy from his injury. So that's the main question there. And the other side of that, on the other side of the back line, Thomas Partey played in the right back role, moving to midfield kind of thing. Arsenal has been doing they're listed as like a 4-3-3, but with possession, it's more like a 3-2-3-2, something like that, where you have kind of 3 center backs, and then Partey moves into the midfield next to Declan Rice, kind of a thing. So that's what they did in their opener. That's kind of what they've been doing a little bit in preseason. So that would be if Thomas Partey plays at right back. That's kind of the situation you get there. But Zinchenko, he did that last season for Arsenal. So if Zinchenko starts, he's going to be doing that role. So we'll see how they line up, I guess. I don't know how much this matters for DFS, but I guess it will matter who actually starts. So, I have kind of what I kind of have the back line of what they had last season, where Ben White's at right back, Gabriel's back in the starting 11, that kind of thing. But again, we could see Party in there. We could see Tomiyasu in there. We could see Zinchenko in there. But otherwise, I don't think there are many major questions here. Arsenal are a 54% favorite away from home at Crystal Palace. That's almost 38% chance for clean sheet. Crystal Palace, 1.01 implied goal total. Arsenal, 1.68 implied goal total. I actually think this is going to be. I know Arsenal are going to have majority possession. That's how they play. They're going to have a bunch of the ball, but I think this is one of those matches where Crystal Palace, they're going to play for the 1-0 win. They're going to play for the scoreless draw, and I think that will be a move in tournaments where everyone's going to be. It's going to be heavy, Arsenal. It's going to be a lot of Arsenal 5-1 builds, 4-2 builds. And I think that's kind of where you can get a little different in tournaments, because I don't think that Arsenal are this is gonna be a situation where they rack up 20 plus shots and they just completely dominate Crystal Palace. I don't think that's gonna be the situation. I think I said this on our betting show. Jefferson Lerma in the midfield next to Decore is something Crystal Palace didn't have last season, a consistent defensive midfielder. And I think that's going to give them a little something here in terms of consistency, in terms of ability to stop teams in the midfield. I think that showed up a little bit in the opener. Granted, it was a much easier matchup, but I think if you look back at last season's results, I know Arsenal won both of them. They won the most recent one at home. It was 4-1, but I mean, Milivojevic started, James Tompkins started. Okay, you can throw that result out. And then these teams played in the opener last season, and I don't think it wasn't complete domination. I mean, you can look at the numbers. Both teams had 10 shots, and Arsenal just, they converted their opportunities. That's the difference between these teams, especially in a matchup like this. One is Arsenal. They have guys who can convert opportunities. We saw Saka's goal last week. We saw Nketiah's goal last week. Can Edouard finish? Can Eze finish? Can Ayew finish? I mean, this Crystal Palace, that's the main question with Crystal Palace. So I guess I'll get into DFS here instead of rambling about random things about these teams. So what do you want to do in cash games here? As I mentioned, all the cash games, the cash game contests are bigger than what they were for Saturday, which is wild because cash game showdowns is not the most exciting thing. But what are we going to do for that? So I think majority of people will just go to Saka. I think that's how it will be. Majority set pieces, attacking role, or maybe I shouldn't say majority set pieces, at least a half roll on corners. I mean, we could see what happened last week. Odegaard took some. Martinelli only took one. Kind of surprising, but Saka took, I think, all on the right side, maybe. I don't have the exacts, but majority of people will go to Saka. So how do you actually build a lineup with Saka as your captain? Do you want Martinelli to get the other set pieces, or would you rather have Odegaard? I'd rather have Odegaard here. We know he'll probably go longer. Martinelli's going to be a sub risk for Trossard, though. What did Martinelli go last week? 86 minutes, and Nketiah went 73 minutes. So I guess maybe in this situation, we have Nketiah being subbed off for Trossard, so maybe we shouldn't be worried too much about Martinelli's minutes. But I will say, so we look at matchups, so Tyreek Mitchell has been viewed in the past as a very good defender for a fullback, and he'll be on Saka's side. I don't know if that's going to sway you. I don't know if it should sway you, but something to keep an eye on. Can you actually build a lineup with Saka captain and Martinelli in there? I mean, what else can you actually get? Because you could throw Odegaard in, and then your last three positions are kind of, shady players. I don't know if shady is the correct term there either, but it is Monday morning. So a lot of people in these 5-1 builds, I guess a lot of people will be looking at Jefferson Lerma, 3,400, Joachim Anderson, 3,200, Cheek Decore, 3,000. So you're going to be looking at all these Crystal Palace players who are all very cheap. If Tomiyasu starts, I don't know if I'd look at him at 3,600 just because you got to think that he's not going to go 90. They will probably have Zinchenko off the bench. They will have Tierney off the bench. So I doubt Tomiyasu, if he starts, he'll go 90. So let's just plug in Decore in this lineup just for the sake of getting the cheapest possible Crystal Palace player and see what else we can actually get. We can like you're not going to get Eze in this lineup. It's just not going to be possible. So that is a question that I was being asked in the chat before. Do you want Eze or do you want, an expensive Arsenal attacker? Personal preference. Personal preference. As based off what I just said at the beginning of the show, I don't think Arsenal are going to get 10 plus corners. I don't think they're going to rack up 20 plus shots. I think this is going to be maybe a little more even than what the odds suggest. And I don't think Arsenal are going to have just racking up so many opportunities. The one way that could happen is if, okay, Crystal Palace score early. They score the first goal, and then Arsenal have to push. That's the one way that could happen. So you have to take that into account when building your lineups as well. So what else can you actually do with this Saka captain? Assuming you have Martinelli, Odegaard, Doucouré here. You could swap out Martinelli for Eze, and you're still basically in the same situation. I think Ramsdale, I know it's 37%. I still think Ramsdale will be 30, 40% on this slate. Goalkeepers have been, steadily getting more popular over the last year or so. There are certain matchups where goalkeepers aren't popular, but you have Arsenal, a big favorite, 37% clean sheet chance. Arsenal, a big name, Ramsdale. I think people are going to plug in Ramsdale, and that's actually going to mean that I kind of don't want him as much. But I think he'll get some looks in cash games, and then that kind of leaves you in the sub 5K range. And at that point, you're looking at Thomas Partey, Gabriel if he starts. That's kind of what you're left with Arsenal. You're just out of reach of Saliba and Ben White. So I guess technically you could do – I don't like this lineup at all really, but you could do Saka, Eze, Odegaard, Doucouré, Ramsdale, and Ben White or Saliba. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Again, I'm not actually going to captain Saka. I don't think that's my move here. So let's try something else. So what if we did Odegaard captain? You can plug Saka in. You could plug in Eze or Martinelli in. Again, personal preference. Nketiah is not going to be a cash play. Ayu's not going to be a cash play. Eduard's not going to be a cash play. Declan Rice, who is extremely expensive. I guess he got his price boost. Now I'm looking at his numbers. He had 3 shots on target last match, 4 tackles, a 12-point floor. That's just not going to happen many times. Against Nottingham Forest is it's different than this Crystal Palace match, but Declan Rice 3 shots on target, just not a thing you're going to see too often. Though you could argue maybe he's getting as forward as Granit Xhaka did last season, and we know Xhaka showed up on the score sheet plenty of times. So I don't know. What do we want to do with this lineup? I guess is a big question here. Maybe Johnstone at 4,200. I don't think that's the worst cash idea. We could do double goalkeepers in cash. I actually think that's the move. It might be the move. I don't want to say it's the move, but it fits. It fits. We could do Odegaard, Saka as a Johnstone, Ramsdale, and then get Saliba in. Whatever. It's not the worst thing. It's not the prettiest thing, but there is kind of like a dead range here of players you actually want to roster. If Zinchenko starts, he's 7K, but how much is he playing? And it's not like Zinchenko is a great DFS player anyways in his position. So you got the set piece takers. I guess you get all of those guys. You get Odegaard, you get Saka, you get Eze. I don't know if it's the move in cash games, but you could get a cheaper captain. I think Martinelli may be the guy looking on the outside for me, though. You look at the Martinelli matchup against Joe Ward, and you kind of don't want to fade Martinelli in that situation, but maybe you just do Martinelli over Eze something. Let's see if we can get Martinelli in this lineup. I don't think you actually can. Yeah, it's not possible. So you're gonna have to decide in cash games if you want to captain one of the set piece takers, one of the high end players to get all 4 of them in your team, or if you want to captain someone cheaper. If you want to captain someone cheaper in cash games, I'm not sure there's a standout option here. Jeffrey Schlupp. I don't captain Jeffrey Schlupp. I can't say that on this show. I will not say that on this show. You could I don't want to get into my GPP strategy, but that's the basic cash ideas here. Let me read some comments. Edward Captain could pay off if 1-0 comes through. Yep. Saturday contest size. Yeah. Um, we'll see about the Saturday contest size. It could just be it was a 3-game slate, and I don't know. DraftKings didn't really. I don't know what happened there. I guess 3 games instead of 4 games. They kind of just ignored it a little bit. We got Arsenal and Manchester United on this upcoming Saturday slate, so I think we should get normal contest size. If not, then maybe we should start to worry a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. I didn't read Lucas's comment, but that's what he's basically saying. Yeah, if you want the big four, you have to punt captain. All right. All right. I know it's not fun here. I'm just reading comments, but all right. All right. Let's get into tournaments. So I already mentioned what I want to do. I think I'm going to go over on this contest under 2.5 goals. I did not say over, under 2.5 goals. I think that's what I'm going to do. So if you want the 1-0, 2-0 Arsenal win, you can decide on, do you want to captain Ramsdale? And then at that point, you can pretty much plug in 3 of Arsenal's top 4 players. Let's build Ramsdale captain. It'll be fairly popular, I think. I don't know if it'll get to the 10% range, but I think it'll be pretty popular. And because Ramsdale is a bit more expensive than John Stone, I'm not sure. Can you get Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, and Nketiah? Yeah, you can't get all those guys in. So again, this is another situation where Ramsdale isn't cheap enough that you can get the top 4 Arsenal players. So again, you're gonna have to decide who you want there. If you could do a situation where you're captaining, I don't know if people are going to captain Declan Rice. I haven't mentioned Kai Havertz yet, but he's too expensive for me. There will be people, I think, captaining Declan Rice based off his prior floor. You can look at any of these center backs, hope for a center back goal. And then at that point, let's just captain Saliba for the fun of it. You could probably plug in Ramsdale, and then you're left with 6,000 for a Crystal Palace piece. And there's not really anyone in that range outside of Schlupp. So, I mean, you're going to have to tinker a little bit with your captain and with the top 3 players you want from Arsenal. I guess, I mean, as I'm talking about this, maybe Nketiah is the way to go, because based off kind of what I'm saying here is Nketiah is not going to be very popular. He's kind of been the afterthought for me during this show as I'm speaking here. I mean, let's look at the goal odds here. He is technically most likely to score here, according to the goal odds, plus 225 odds. I mean, it's very close to all these other guys, but goal or bust guy, more or less. I mean, we saw his goal against Nottingham Forest. As I have already mentioned, he probably be first to sub off for Leandro Trossard. If it's a scoreless match, going in the 60th minute, Trossard will probably come on for Nketiah in the 60th minute to change it up for Arsenal, to change their look up a little bit. So that's clearly a worry there. And Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, those guys have better floors. So that's the main decision. When you're going Arsenal, you have to decide what top players do you want. Usually when I like Arsenal in the match, I'll go down to the very bottom, captain whoever it is, and then fit all of the top players in my team. And again, I tried that with Saliba. You might be able to do that actually with Party. So you can actually do that. So if you're on the Arsenal side, that's a strategy. That I'll just say it's a strategy. I'm not saying it's a great one, but it's a strategy. So, and then in terms of other Arsenal looks, again, Saka maybe be different and put Trossard in one of your lineups coming off the bench, kind of a thing. Because Saka is going to be pretty popular. Odegaard, Martinelli maybe won't be as popular, but they will still be somewhere in there in terms of captain popularity, because who else are people going to captain outside of Saka? And Nketiah will get looks. Maybe it's going to be Saka, and then everyone's going to decide between Odegaard, Martinelli, and Nketiah. All the people building mass lineups, they'll probably have a little bit of captain on each of those guys. So if you captain any of those guys, you got to find a way to be different. One of those ways is to do Trossard. maybe even play for an Edouard goal kind of thing or an IU goal, maybe play for a high scoring match. That would be a way to be different, I think. And maybe you're looking for a 2-1 Arsenal result, 3-1 Arsenal result, something like that, where you get actually a Crystal Palace goal instead of, punting at for Gahey or Anderson or something as a center back kind of a thing. So, all right, Crystal Palace. Should I give my exact strategy away? I don't have an exact strategy yet, but I'm going to make a John Stone captain here. Let's see what we can do with John Stone captain. I think it should be pretty easy here, just based off pricing. So we're going to do Saka. I don't think we actually need Martinelli. Let's see what it turns out to be. But I'm going to put Eze in this lineup. I'm going to put Odegaard in this lineup. And who else do we want? If we want John Stone, we're basically on the assumption that we're going to either get a 1-0 win or we're going to get a clean sheet here. So do we want Edouard in here? Do we want IU in here? Or do we want, center back, get an Anderson goal or a Gahey goal, something like that? Both those guys get forward on set pieces. So I kind of like both of them. Anderson will probably be more popular based off his prior performance. Yeah, you can do pretty much as I expected, whatever you want here. So John Stone with Eze and Anderson. So we get the Eze set piece to Anderson, corner goal to Anderson, something like that, 1-0, and then we get set pieces from Saka. We get set pieces and shots from Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli. There you go. You got 700 remaining, so I'm not sure how popular this is, but I assume the hundreds of people that watch this show will play this lineup. So it'll probably be John Stone captain will probably be 50% based off all the people watching this lineup. But in all seriousness here, I do like this lineup. I do like John Stone captain. I will be doing this. I will be spending my money on John Stone captain. I don't want to lie to the people here. I also think, if you really want to go crazy and get this 20K, you can go for the center back goal. You can go for an Anderson goal. You can go for a Gahey goal. And then at that point, you kind of got to hope that whoever gets that goal will have more points than John Stone gets. So maybe John Stone only gets 2 saves. Maybe Arsenal just have trouble getting shots on target for some reason. John Stone's at 2 saves, win clean sheet. Maybe he's only at 14, 15 points, but then you get a goal from Anderson, Gahey, and they're sitting at 17, 18 or something like that. I mean, that's the hope when you captain an Anderson or a Gahey. Again, the Crystal Palace fullbacks are not really in DFS range. You can play them if you want. Go ahead. Lerma Decore, both are going to be very defensive in this match. I'd kind of ignore their stats from the prior match. You could probably say the same thing for Schlupp. IU is going to be a great GPP play. I think he will be less popular than Edouard. Let me just compare the pricing here. You could do Edouard captain. You could do IU captain, get that early Crystal Palace goal, and then get the run back with a bunch of Arsenal pieces. You can take that route as well. So yeah, IU captain 11.4, and then we got Edouard at 10.8. So about in that same range, but Edouard as the forward with pretty sure he has better odds to score. With better odds to score, will be more popular. So IU probably going to be. I mean, it's not like Edouard's going to be popular, but if you really want to, max out, trying to be different than everyone else, I think IU captain will be less popular than Edouard captain. Eze will still get plenty of love, I think, even though he's expensive. I think he'll be pretty high. I mean, you look at his floor in that first game, it's impossible to guess. I'll say he's going to be at least 50%. Crystal Palace at home, you just can't ignore Eze in this spot. I think you play Eze, and I think you just move off of one of the Arsenal pieces. You just that's one of the things on the slate. You have to decide what Arsenal piece don't you want. It may be Nketiah and Martinelli just based off of playing time. That may be what route everyone goes with. So maybe in the other end of that, if you're on Arsenal, maybe you captain the Martinelli and Nketiahs because they'll be less popular than Odegaard, Saka. Just something to think about there. I think that's all I got here. Reading some more comments. Yeah, I think Crystal Palace can hang at home. Yep, that's what I've been saying. As a captain, he can definitely score a free kick. Yeah, why not? Again, if you're on Crystal Palace as a captain, you can play for the 1-1 result. You can play for multiple goals kind of a thing. We know Eze should have some kind of floor as long as Crystal Palace don't score in the first 10 minutes and sit back for the rest of the 80, because that is possible. We've seen that before. So something to think about. But that's all I got for this show. You can find me at Zdroik on Twitter. You can find RotoWire Soccer at RotoWire Soccer. Again, we also have a betting look at this match as well with a couple bets in that one. You can join our betting group on DraftKings. Again, just DM me or something like that. I'll send you the link for that. We also got a Discord, which has been pretty busy over the last couple of weeks. You got to be a subscriber, though. Rotowire.com/soccer trial. That's a 48-hour trial. And then to get into our Discord, rotowire.com/chat. That's all I got for the show. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Good luck on the showdown. Hopefully someone can take this 20K down. I actually haven't even looked at if there's a if we have actually real King of the Pitch contests here for this. Let me look real quick. What do we got for King of the Pitch? There's a qualifier, $25 qualifier for this. All right, so get in. We got a King of the Pitch qualifier for this. So good luck with that. I assume a Johnstone captain is going to take that down. So congratulations to anyone who watches the show and plays Johnstone captain and wins a bunch of money. Congratulations to you in advance. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Good luck.